Masayuki Fujino has 16 employees in his 87-year-old family business that makes parts used in chips, cars, airplanes, and medical equipment. He wants to raise wages as surging inflation hits his workers, even as his costs are being squeezed by soaring materials prices and electricity bills. But what if the economy turns down again?
In
Japan, once you raise wages, you can't lower them. Unlike in other countries, it is difficult to dismiss employees. We can't raise wages when the economy is booming and lower wages when the economy is bad. Once it's up, it will have to keep going up.
This kind of reasoning hasn't stopped many of Japan's big blue-chip firms from shifting gears and raising wages this year, as workers get hit hard by 4% plus inflation. But is this enough to ensure 2% overall inflation in Japan? The big question in the spring wage negotiations is how much large Japanese companies who can afford it are more willing to give wage increases to their workers. The question mark has always been over small and medium-sized businesses who find this often much harder to do. Out of 3.6 million companies in Japan, 99.7% are small and mid-sized businesses versus 0.3% classed as large-sized companies. In fact, 76% of Japan's workforce is employed by companies with less than 1,000 workers. Masato Okajima employs 34 workers at web design and video creation company Monster Dive. The soaring price of electricity and consumer goods led his board to agree to a 15,000 yen wage hike in January, in part to make sure he can retain workers.
I'm not confident that we'll be able to keep raising wages, but this time we have to do it to support our staff who are worried about the future. Otherwise, they may leave us for other jobs. When you think about that, I don't think it's a costly investment at all.
At least for now, many economists say the momentum for wage hikes is rising.
Even if inflation does come down, once workers realize that they can actually get bigger pay hikes if they push hard, they might continue to do so. So I think the risks are tilted towards stronger pay hikes.
Any raise is out of the question for Tsuneki Kiyono, who runs PB Farm, a small supermarket in Tokyo where his costs are rising and sales are flat or even falling, but he's hoping a tourist influx could eventually help.
Eventually, if the inbound tourists start to come back, the sales will go up. Then, I'd like to raise wages almost immediately.
Outgoing BOJ Governor Haruhiko Kuroda says wages must rise at least 3% in a stable manner to anchor inflation above 2%. It looks like it's up to small business owners across the country whether this target is met. Kathleen Hays, Bloomberg, Tokyo.